Hey everyone, Tim Schofield here. It's time to take a look at the latest flagship from ZTE, the Axon 40 Ultra. Now this phone has the latest Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 processor, a triple camera system, all at 64 megapixels, 120 hertz display, but there's something special about that display. It actually doesn't have a front-facing camera. I'm just kidding, it does. It's an under-display camera, and in previous ZTE phones, you've seen it. However, the tech has come even further. It's really cool how they actually hide that front-facing camera behind the display. So anyways, we'll take a look at this premium phone, take a very close look at that top of that display and the full screen. It actually looks really good. I'm excited to check out this phone. So let's get unboxing to it. We'll see what comes inside and then of course get some hands-on with the phone itself. Let's get started. And here is the ZTE Axon 40 Ultra with 5G connectivity. Let's open it up for the first time right away. We do have the phone. We are going to set that to the side for just a second, continue through, see what we get inside. First of all, SIM ejection tool, a warranty card, plus an extra, a case that comes with the phone, just a full clear case. We will put this on the phone later on in the video. Inside this box, we have our charger, USB Type-C. This is a 65 watt travel charger. Setting that to the side, we also get, I believe, another extra. Let me take this out. And yes, looks like a USB Type-C to 3.5 millimeter headphone jack adapter. And finally, in the box, we've got our charging cable, USB Type-C to USB Type-C. And on to what you came to see, the Axon 40 Ultra by ZTE. You can already tell, no notch or cutout up towards the top of the front. Let's peel the plastic off. Let's actually peel this sticker off on the back. Looks like they sent over the black variant, which actually looks really good. Looks like it has a little bit of texture to it. I guess when you push on it, you can feel a little bit of texture. Just a quick look at the back. Now we are going to power on this device, and while it boots up, let's take a closer look at that hardware. So down at the bottom, SIM card slot, microphone, USB Type-C port, and one of the speakers. Moving along, you'll notice curved sides along the right side with the power button, 2 volume rockers. Also make note of the camera bump. I would say pretty medium in terms of size. There's definitely a bump there that comes off the back. We'll talk about that in just a second. And then up towards the top, looks like an IR blaster there. A nice addition. Love to see that. And another speaker up towards the top. And then along the left side, absolutely nothing. Moving along on the back, some ZTE branding. And then our triple camera setup. Pretty impressed by this. 3 64 megapixel lenses, actually. One of them a periscope lens, so 64 megapixel wide angle lens. The periscope lens actually zooms in optically 3.5x. And then you also have an ultra wide angle lens. So the 3 lenses I expect out of a flagship: wide angle, periscope, telephoto lens, and then an ultra wide angle lens. Anyways, our phone is booted up MyOS, which is a skin on top of Android 12 right now. We'll take a closer look at that front camera. It does have a front camera. Can't really notice it right now, but we will take a closer look. But we're going to run through the startup process, talk about anything that is noteworthy. While running through the startup process, a couple noteworthy things. First of all, that power button has some texture to it. So it is very noticeable. You can differentiate it between the volume rockers that are smooth. Also, while just holding the phone with one hand, I find I rest that pointer finger just kind of on the corner for a little bit of leverage. Anyways, device security, you have set your face, fingerprint, password. So it does have face unlock. However, let's set up that fingerprint. This is an optical under display fingerprint scanner. Let's go ahead and just lift our thumb up, set it on down. It is registering. There we go. It is asking for the edges now. Just kind of put the edges of my thumb down. You can add more. Some phones let you do it within the setup process. Other phones make you go into settings later. And we are all good to go. So your fingerprint's been registered. Good to go. Let's hit next. And here we go. 5G Smart communication, dual Wi-Fi network speed up between 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, or smart adaptive 5G between 5G and 4G to save more battery. It's up to you if you want to use these features. All right, we are set up, ready to go. Let's jump to the home screen. I know how to use gestures. There is our app drawer. I can definitely tell the 120 hertz display is enabled by default, but let's take a look. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Let's take a look at this display. So this is an 1116 by 2480 resolution display at 6.8 inches. And taking a look, there it is. So there is that front-facing camera. Can't really tell. You can if you look very closely. Probably if I shine some light on it, but not really. Honestly, it's very impressive how hidden this front-facing. Normally, you'd be able to see it. I remember in the last model, you could kind of see it when I had light, but now, honestly, with the camera and all of the light shining on it, it is very challenging to notice. And when I look at it from any distance, I guess when I get really close to it, I can tell. Let's see if I can zoom in more. Okay, so zoomed in quite a bit. And again, if you get really close, you can see the outline of the front-facing camera. I'm not sure if the camera can even pick it up. Maybe with the reflection of this light, you can kind of see the circle of that front-facing camera, but pretty impressive. I really hope more manufacturers take note of this and put under-display cameras in. Anyways, that was kind of a boring wallpaper out of the box. There's some good ones actually to choose from by default to take advantage of this AMOLED display. So let's just go ahead and randomly pick one towards the top here. How about this one right here? Set as, let's set it as both. There we go, applying. We're all good to go. And again, even with this color on there, I'm not noticing it. Even with a white display, maybe if we turn on a dark display, you can notice it a little bit more. But anyways, let's go into display settings. Screen refresh rate's on auto, so you can tell, like I said, 120 hertz was in use most of the time. It will bump it down by default, will save some battery. You can force it to 120 hertz, which I would recommend doing. Interestingly enough, you have an option of top area settings, hide status bar. So there we go. Now it is fully, completely dark. Let me zoom in here. And again, actually when it's completely dark, it's even harder to tell that there's a front-facing camera, obviously with it being darker. So I think the screen that would show it the most is a completely white display. And as you can tell, check that out. Just a full display. It looks really good. There's actually something you can customize, tiny screen display adjustment here to adjust the under display camera area's brightness. So you can individually customize it if you don't like it. So you can change the brightness of the screen, and then with the different brightnesses, change the under display camera area brightness. So if you want that area brightness to go darker or higher up, so you'll see with it completely dark, you can just tell where that camera is, or you can turn it all the way up. This really just kind of shows you how well it actually hides. Next up, let's hop into that camera here with the triple 64 megapixel camera system. Snap some pictures here. There we go, all good to go. Zooming out to that wide angle lens, obviously including a lot more into that shot. And then the telephoto lens, which again, 3.5 times, which is kind of a lot, but overall, I think I prefer over 2x out of the telephoto lens. There's a lot of different camera settings, including camera family, which shows you a ton of different ones. Moon, starry sky, star trail, slow motion, time lapse, macro, street, pro mode. Always love to see that. Video, night, and portrait mode. Also, it's actually pretty snappy when switching these modes. Sometimes I feel like it's a little slow when you switch modes. So nice to see that. And aperture you can change within portrait, which is really nice. The aperture will change the amount of blur that's in the background, so you'll see how blurry that is. And then you change it, and it will make it less or more blurry depending on the settings you want. One thing I kind of forgot to test was the front-facing camera. It's probably pretty important with it being an under-display camera. There's probably a lot of tech going into it. So let's flip this. Oh, it gave a little visual animation. Let's show that off just again. So let you know where to look, I guess. But wow. Ooh. I have to say, out of most of the phones that I look at the front-facing camera with, especially, I mean, there's a lot of light going on, but this looks very rough. Let me turn off beauty mode. Oh man, it is not handling the light right. Let me back up and take a quick picture. All right, so I have to say, not the most impressed by it. Post-processing made it look a little bit better, but I mean, not very good. So again, maybe there's some drawbacks to having an under-display camera, which, you know, isn't too bad for me. I don't take that many selfies. I don't really use the front-facing camera all that much, so it really wouldn't be that big of a deal for me, but someone that might take a lot of selfies might say, hey, that quality just isn't up to my standards. Next up, let's go ahead and test that in-display fingerprint scanner. Jumping into the lock screen, setting our thumb down. Looks like it unlocks it right away. It's suggested to turn on face unlock. We're not going to do that for now. Let's just go ahead and set our thumb down again. With the display all the way off, it does recognize it, so you don't need to go to the lock screen. If you know the spot, you can set your thumb down and it will unlock the device. And finally, just going into settings one more time, there's personalization settings, a lot of them, including always on display, fingerprint animation, even animation speeds, soft or brisk, moderate, kind of up to you. I love the amount of customization that this offers. Scrolling down, also features here, such as system navigation for buttons if you want them, one-handed mode, Z-Pop, which will actually bring up a button for different types of actions, screen edge, mistouch prevention, obviously with the curved sides. You don't want to be touching the sides too much, so you can prevent that. Gestures in motion, double tap to wake screen, always love that. 3-finger down for screenshot. Let's take a screenshot of that. There you go. It worked how it should. Love to see that. Raised to wake and a bunch of others. Shake to turn on flashlight. Let's actually try this. Turn on flashlight from the lock screen by shaking the phone back and forth. 1, 2. Okay. Turned it on. It's on there from the lock screen. Turn it back on. It turns it off. So I guess pressing the power button turns that off. So do that, and then I don't know if it actually turns it off or if you have to press the power button. You might have to just press the power button to get it turned on. Oh, it didn't turn off there. Oh, there it goes. So gives me Motorola vibes with that. Love to see different gestures like that. You'll have to play around with that. I'll have to play around with that very clearly. Anyways, that is everything I wanted to talk about. Again, very impressed with how hidden this front-facing camera is. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think about this device, this flagship from ZTE. A lot more videos to come. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And as always, thanks for watching.